Yo guys, Lone Wolf Yorker here. Today I'm going to be doing a reaction video to my good friend Blockbuster Bias's video from a few days ago. I think a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Called Real Examination Incredibles 2 2018 Spoiler Free Review. I'm going to leave a link in the description, guys. I'm going to leave the video in the description. So let's jump into it.
Hello and welcome to Blockbuster Bias. My name is Ewan and today we'll be doing another episode of Real Examination with Disney Pixar's 2018 film The Incredibles 2. Now, while this video will not contain any spoilers for The Incredibles 2, there may be some minor details referred to from the first Incredibles film. So if you haven't seen that, I would recommend you go and do it now. Add this video to watch later, go and watch The Incredibles, come back and thank me. With that disclaimer past us, let's get on with the review. Now, everyone watching this should be familiar with the characters, but just in case you're not, I'll quickly run through them. So starting off with the titular family, we have...
I like how in-depth he gets with everything. Like, yeah, we're only a minute in, but he's so in-depth about absolutely everything. You guys need to watch him.
Bob, aka Mr. Incredible. He loves being a superhero but is frustrated that he's not able to use his ability of super strength to help society, and he is played by Craig T. Nelson. The awkward played by Sarah Reid. He is voiced by Eli Fusil. And now the last member of the originals to make a major appearance in the film is Frozone. The long-time friend and ally to the Incredibles, and has the ability to produce ice. And he is voiced by Nick Fury.
I like how he tells you who he's voiced by and that type of stuff.
Jules Winfield, Mace Windu himself, Samuel L. Jackson. Also showing up for cameo roles from the original are Tony, who is Violet's love interest, and he is voiced by Michael Bird, possibly Brad Bird's son. I don't know, I'll need to check that. We also have Dicker, who is the advocate of The Incredibles, who is voiced by Jonathan Banks. And finally we have the wonderful Edna Mode, who is the designer for Supers, and she is played by director Brad Bird. Now on to the newbies. First up we have Winston Dever, a billionaire type actor. We also have all have the awards superhero rights, and she is voiced by Isabella Rossellini. So the plot basically picks up where the last movie left off. After a failed operation causes a lot of damage to the city, supers are once again ostracised by the public and are forced into hiding by the government. The Incredibles themselves are staying in a motel and are planning out their next move when they are approached by Frozone with a potential opportunity to improve supers' standing in society. That's a hard sentence to say. So they meet with Winston and Evelyn Dever, and they discuss that the reason supers are viewed badly.
Well, if I were doing this, I'd try and get a green screen from behind him so that he could, like, be wherever instead of in the kitchen or the lounge, wherever this is. It just looks a bit weird.
Is because the public only sees the damage that they cause. They don't see the build-up and the heroic acts leading up to that. So their suggestion is to put body cams on supers, and they want Elastigirl to be the poster woman for the initiative because she is a bit more reliable and doesn't cause as much damage as Mr. Incredible, which he takes offence to. So Elastigirl sets off to improve the public's image of supers, but along the way she is confronted by a mysterious villain known as the Screenslaver. Meanwhile, Bob is left at home to try and manage Dash and Violet's increasingly complicated school lives, as well as manage Jack's unconventional development. So, to sum up, this movie is just a whole lot of fun. The animation looks amazing, which you would expect from a sequel we've been waiting 14 years for. The plot is pretty straightforward and concise, but does have a few hints of a spy thriller feel to it, particularly when you're trying to determine the identity of the villain. There are a lot more action sequences in this film than there were in the first one, particularly with Elastigirl, who is kind of pushed to the front.
I love that he's added in a movie clip so that people don't have to visualise what he's talking about. You can just put it on the screen and then done that.
And centre of the film, while Mr. Incredible has to take a backseat in this one. And the humour, of course. This film completely blows the first film out the water with its humour. While I would say that Elastigirl is the main focus of the film and she does a very good job as the heroine, Jack Jack has to be the show stealer for me. Every scene with Bob desperately trying to understand and control his varying powers is just hilarious. And because you don't really understand the extent of his powers and you don't know how many powers he's got, you just don't know what's going to happen next, and it just builds up the anticipation for something to happen. There are also some very funny scenes with Violet, kind of trying to deal with Tony's lack of interest, and there are some good scenes with Mr. Incredible, just basically playing the exhausted, frustrated stay-at-home father. The only slight I had with the film, and this is quite a minor thing, is that although I did like the villain, I just felt that Syndrome was more of a natural presence in the first one and had more of an organic story to tell in becoming a villain. But that's just a minor thing, really. And that's it, really. I would definitely recommend you go and see this film. It's a great watch. I would recommend you go and see it in the cinema rather than waiting for it to come out on DVD, because I...
Right, so as you can see, he's trying to make you watch it as well. But this guy is really good at what he does. You guys should definitely check him out. This video will be linked in the description, and if it's not, just type in Real Examination The Incredibles 2